Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. Ever since Hayden Panettiere's passing, there's been a lot of theories. Everybody's coming up with their own theories based on something they've watched or, just based on some of the things that have been going on in the country. That's been hard to get away from, but the fact of the matter is nobody truly knows what the cause is, even though there so far has been nothing suspicious found. People are still not accepting the information that they were given just because they are so convinced that because of what she experienced in her past or what she talked about, there is more to the story. It does not look like this issue is going to be your typical passing where someone passes, they provide the information from the coroner about, the cause of death, and everything just moves smoothly. It does not look like that will be the case because there is a lot of contentious relationships in Hayden's life prior to her passing. I mean, between her mother and Brian alone, they do not like each other. That's one. And then Hayden herself and her mother were having issues as well. And it's just, she has a lot of complex relationship dynamics in her life before she passed away, and that will not stop just because she has passed away. Recently, TMZ reported that at the time that Hayden was in the house prior to having the heart issues that led to her demise, both Brian and Zach were in the house, his brother Zach. They were both in the house, so it was not just Brian. Because initially we're hearing that, we heard that Brian was in the house, and then later on they said it was Zach who found Hayden. But now we're getting a better picture, which is that they were both in the house because she had gotten together with Brian. They had gotten back together, and they were in Greenville, South Carolina at the Airbnb, and both Brian and Zach were at the house with Hayden, but Brian was sleeping in the living room, and somehow Zach found Hayden and they tried to call 911 to resuscitate her, but she could not be resuscitated. But they were both in the house, which is why the report initially said that it was Zach who found her, because I was wondering, why is it Zach who found her? What's Zach got to do with this? But yeah, both brothers were at the house. I think, based on what I've heard, I think that Hayden's mother was very disappointed that she got back together with Brian, because Hayden's mother and Brian do not like each other at all. And I'm not sure exactly what the reasons are, but obviously it's going to be because Hayden's mother, does not believe that that Brian is good for her daughter. And she believes that he is a negative influence to her. It is kind of hard for us to know that, but based on his history and how contentious his relationship with Hayden's mother is and the things that he has said, he has bluntly said that he absolutely does not like Hayden's mother and that she is the worst person that he has ever met, etc. Like something along those lines. So there is no love lost between those two. And now it seems like, based on what we've heard, Hayden's mother is saying that Brian should not have come back into Hayden's life. It's almost as if she's insinuating that because he came back into her life, she, went deeper into her struggles and I mean, the stress alone from this relationship of theirs, the back and forth, and then she has a child, she has custody issues, and then she has the ex-husband. She just had a lot of these kinds of issues surrounding her relationships in her life. So that alone must have been stressful. And then when you add her substance struggles to it, I can only imagine like how horrible things have been for her. Like there's been a few of her co-stars that have said that they noticed that she was not doing well and she was feeling very down, and it seemed like she was struggling with something while on set. And yeah, so it's really sad. But based on the accusations, I don't want to say accusations, but based on the things that Hayden's mother is saying about Brian, it's looking like they are going to have some kind of a fight, because everybody's very upset about this. Like Hayden's brother passed, and then now Hayden has passed. I mean, I don't know what Hayden's mother is like, but Jesus Christ, she has lost 2 of her children, and I think she only has those 2 children. At least I've only seen those 2. So within less than 5 years, I think Hayden's brother died in 2023, I think. So in less than 5 years, this woman has lost both of her adult children that were thriving. They were grown, they were raised, doing really well, and then for this to have happened, I don't know how some parents do it, honestly. But yeah, so it does not look like she is going to just take this lying down based on the things that she is saying about Brian. Now, one thing I want to say is this: Brian, I don't know, like, people cannot just level accusations on someone, because at the end of the day, we don't really know what happened. But it seems like Hayden's mother may have had some ground to stand on when she said Brian may be a negative influence on Hayden. I don't know exactly what that is. Usually substance abuse is a very complex problem. You cannot just say this person gave you this substance one time, maybe like, I don't know, a painkiller, for example, and because of that, when you get hooked on it, suddenly they are at fault. It's not that simple. Sometimes some people go out of their way to escape stress. I'm not saying Hayden did this, but sometimes people try to escape stress, and then they take one thing and then they take another thing. Before you know it, they're hooked on it. Sometimes it's after surgery, people are in pain. You can't just sit in pain, you have to get away from it, and before you know it, they get hooked on something. And then, so it's not always recreational. And everybody knows that Hayden was struggling with a lot of things, like just a whole lot of things. I don't even know a lot about her life, but even I could see that she was struggling with a lot of things based on the things that she talked about. And then she had the custody issue with her ex, and she just had a lot of things going on. But one thing that one can take away from this whole thing is that when there's a lot of stress, like career stress, normal life stress, relationships definitely exacerbate the problem. It is not a solution. It is not a source of happiness or joy or life satisfaction. I don't know anybody who feels more satisfied with their life or fulfilled because they are in a relationship. And so when you're having a lot of relationship issues, what that also means is that there's a lot of men that are causing stress in your life, One is a lot. So when you have two, and then you have issues with your mother as well, I mean, it's like, it's going to be stressful. You're going to go through a lot. And then if you're already a vulnerable person struggling with other stuff, it's only almost, you can say it's only a matter of time before you experience some kind of substance use issues. So yeah, it's really sad. It's a sad situation that she was having so much conflict with a lot of the people in her life. Hayden seems like a very nice person, so I don't understand why there was just so much conflict in her life, just so much conflict. The ex-husband matter, like having custody of the child, that alone is enough to, drive someone up the wall. So I'm sure she struggled a lot. But the way that Hayden's mother is sounding almost accusatory towards Brian, almost like, if you never came into my daughter's life, she'll be so much better off. That's the vibe that she gives. She does not hide the fact that she does not like Brian at all. So I feel like this might become some sort of a messy fight between them. And now there's going to be money issues that they have to work through. Like, they don't even get along now. How are they going to sort through that, For a child star to grow up and not have a good relationship with their parent because of, their upbringing and the fact that they were child stars and had to work and just stuff relating to that, is nothing new. We've seen this many times. We've seen many child stars talk about how their relationship was estranged from their parents and they do not have a positive relationship. But no matter how many times we've seen this play out, for some reason, parents whose children are child stars still do not prioritize, or at least try to have a more balanced relationship with their children, like a healthier relationship. It's like they completely throw that to the wayside and just focus on the child's career solely, because the child becomes the breadwinner of the family. And it looks like that is what happened here with Hayden and her family, because she had said before in an interview that she was the breadwinner and she felt like a worker. She did not feel like a child, and that her self-esteem was tied to her mother's approval. And I'm sure her mother's approval came depending on how Hayden performed in her career. So it's like, I don't understand why these parents of these children in the entertainment industry do not try harder to have that positive relationship with the child. It's like over and over and over we see these child stars come out and say the exact same thing, like the same issues with their parents, and yet the parents still don't try. And the relationship that Hayden's mother and Hayden had prior to Hayden's death, that is not the relationship you want to have with someone before they pass away. It was so bad that her mother was actually doing interviews, airing their family laundry and like saying all these negative things about Hayden, saying that Hayden basically did not treat her as well as she should have. But Hayden has the same thing to say about her mother, and being that Hayden is the child and the mother is the mother, I'm not sure why, like what exactly Hayden's mother was expecting. But you know what, she just lost her second child, and this is just not the right time to be criticizing someone like that. I doubt that she will see this video anyways, but still, as much as I don't want to criticize her, I'm just like, Jesus, she's gonna feel extra hurts because she was not at a good place with her daughter before her daughter passed. And her daughter has also mentioned in an interview that even though she's estranged from her mother and they do not have a good relationship, she always leaves the door open for reconciliation, and she never fully closes the door. So, for this to be her stance, and then for her mother to not have reconciled with her daughter prior to this happening, it's really going to haunt her. Like, if you've ever lost someone close to you, you always think back to the last conversation you had with that person and how you guys left off after that conversation. And where you would ask yourself, were you in a good place with them? Is there something they wanted you to do? Did you do it? You know, it's just a way to like ask yourself, was I a good person to this person? You know, at least I do it. I don't know if other people do it or not. Not everybody self-reflects, but I can imagine that she wouldn't think about this. But, you know, it's obvious that she was not at a good place with her daughter when she passed. This is the kind of things that people need to think about when they cut their family members off, especially if the reason for the cutoff is like, it's not something super crazy, like they took someone else's life, you know, or you're in danger for your life. If it's the kind of a thing that can be resolved, then in my opinion, I feel like people should try as much as possible to keep things amicable. You don't have to be BFFs with the person, like the family member or whoever, but I think that it is worth it to have them in your life. Just keep them at a distance. If you guys do not get along, occasionally send them a text. Hey, what's up? How are you doing? Kind of a thing. Without being super close to them. But to completely cut someone off and then they really get cut off and you never can speak to them again, trust me, that is not an easy thing to have to deal with. So yeah, I really feel bad for Hayden's mother. I know that she probably did some things to Hayden, which, you know, Hayden must have had a reason for cutting her off. But at the same time, both of her children, my God, it's got to be hard. And yeah, it's just really sad. But anyway, this is all I have to say on Hayden Panettiere. It's really sad. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.